With Joey Blackwell and Katie Windham, I am Mason Smith, and this is Three and Out. Guys, with Alabama securing its victory against Ole Miss, they are now remaining in contention for a New Year's Six bowl game. Joey, starting with you, which New Year's Six bowl game you think is the best fit for Alabama?
Well, I think a lot of this, like, obviously, a lot of this depends on how Alabama finishes out the season, but it also depends on how the teams around them, particularly LSU, finish out their seasons. With Alabama poised where they are right now, behind LSU, I think the Cotton Bowl or possibly the Orange Bowl are their best landing spots. If they're able to jump ahead of LSU, let's say if Georgia is able to thump the Tigers pretty hard in the SEC championship game, we could see Alabama make it as high as the Sugar Bowl. But that will determine, like I said, Alabama is not really control of their own destiny. It depends on how teams around them play. If they don't make a New Year's Six bowl, I could see them falling down to the Citrus Bowl, which would still be a solid bowl game. It's one of the best bowls that's not a New Year's Six. That would be against a Big Ten team in Orlando, formerly the Capital One Bowl, for those of you that haven't really watched the Citrus Bowl that much over the past few years. But yeah, so that's where I have Alabama going right now. Potentially, the Sugar Bowl if they rise above LSU, or I honestly put the edge to Cotton, but it also could be the Orange Bowl.
I think well, okay, first of all, obviously the ideal or the best landing spot for Alabama would be the playoff. But I just don't see any way that that's going to happen. I think they would have to be too much chaos, which I don't know. We've seen crazy things happen in college football, but a two-loss non-conference champion, I just don't see any way that happens. So, but it's kind of interesting when you look at the bowls because, the Sugar Bowl was traditionally, pre college football playoff era, that's where the SEC champion went, or the highest ranked SEC team. And obviously this year's SEC champion is going to be in the playoff unless it's LSU. But, in the past, Alabama teams that have gone to the Sugar Bowl that were out of contention for a national championship, like the 2008 team against Utah or the 2013 team against Oklahoma. Alabama fans remember how that turned out. So the Sugar Bowl has not been the kindest to Alabama teams that were just playing for the bowl win and not for something more like the playoffs. Where they had the semifinal there in 2017 against Clemson. And so, I think it would be the easiest to travel to for fans, for the team as well. But I think maybe at this point, an Orange Bowl is probably the best option for this team. But like Joey said, there's still a lot that's going to have to play out over the next few weeks. And like we've been talking about since Alabama lost to LSU, it's kind of an interesting, perspective that we're even having to talk about this, because the last few years it's been more like, what spot in the rankings, what spot in the playoffs is Alabama going to be? And now it's which bowl game are they going to go to not in the playoffs?
No, absolutely, Katie. And it's like you said, and like Joey kind of alluded to, it's going to be a lot of chaos coming down the stretch, but things will eventually play themselves out. So we look forward to covering that. With Joey Blackwell and Katie Windham, I'm Mason Smith. This has been Three and Out. Thank you so much for watching.